This fake video has been circulating online. It claims to show a Euronews report about a supposed unique Russian art auction. Now, in this video, it is falsely claimed that in Germany, an auction house is encouraging art collectors to donate Russian paintings or manuscripts from Russian composers. It then falsely claims that these antiques and artworks will be publicly destroyed and that the funds from the auction will be donated to Ukraine's military in the war against Russia. You can see in this video that the logo and graphics of Euronews have been used. But this video has not been produced by us, and no such auction is taking place. Euronews has released a statement confirming that it did not produce or publish this video and that our graphics and format have been used without consent. We are now taking steps to have this video deleted from social media. This is an example of imposter content, where something impersonates a legitimate news organisation to spread a false narrative. And what's more, the German auction house, Bolland and Moritz, have also released a statement confirming that the video is fake. They say that such an auction does not and will never take place. We distance ourselves from this video and are outraged and stunned that our name has been misused. They also went on to say that this video is offensive to Russian Orthodox art and culture, and that it goes against their philosophy in trying to preserve art. We know that some European countries have restricted or cancelled some performances of Russian culture following the war in Ukraine. But at this German auction house, there is no evidence that any such unique auction is going to destroy Russian antiques.
Our independent voices, even those linked to the Kremlin, safe as Putin's crackdown on dissidents continues? That's the question experts are asking after the Lithuanian government confirmed Russian socialite and former presidential candidate Ksenia Sobchak fled her homeland and entered the country on an Israeli passport.
I think that for many years she's been Putin's Trojan horse inside Russia's opposition. On one hand, giving it a kind of, frivolously scandalous character, and on the other hand, often inclining the rest of the opposition to seek some sort of compromise with the government.
The TV personality bolted after her luxury home in Moscow was searched on Wednesday as part of an investigation into Kirill Subhanov, the director of Sobchak's media holding, who was detained on charges of extortion. Sobchak has slammed the arrest as an effort to stifle independent media.
They've been spied upon, they've been followed. The authorities have been trying to find a reason to take her employees hostage and put pressure on her so that Ksenia would be more cooperative.
The 40-year-old is the daughter of Anatoly Sobchak, the Liberal mayor of St. Petersburg who mentored the Russian president in the 1990s. While the media star has often criticised Putin, many Russian opposition figures have accused her of serving the Kremlin's agenda.
Sobchak is an integral part of the regime that has contributed to the regime itself and is essentially protected by Putin himself. In Russia, it's impossible to have a situation where Sobchak acts as a would-be opposition figure, while at the same time her mother is a member of the Federation Council, a tool for the regime.
Sobchak denies accommodating Putin after she challenged his 2-decade-long rule in 2018. However, opposition leader Alexei Navalny says she was a parody of a liberal candidate and discredited her rivals by joining the race.
Time abides, and yet for member EU states it remains a bone of contention. This weekend the clocks go backwards across the continent as part of annual daylight saving measures. But the European Commission in 2018 proposed the abolition of the time changes after 4.6 million European citizens voiced scrapping the practice. Despite being rubber-stamped by MEPs in 2019, the proposal has stood still, with no change. There are currently 3 time zones in Europe, with the vast majority of countries using Central European Time as their standard. But there are arbitrary factors which have set these zones. Time should be based on meridians of longitude. For instance, the northwestern tip of Spain should share a time zone with Portugal, but that remains in line with the rest of the country. So what was proposed to change? The initiative back in 2018 proposed splitting European countries into 4 zones based on current winter time. The UK, France, Spain and the Benelux countries would be under the same Western European time zone. One problematic issue would be for the island of Ireland, where the time zones of Northern Ireland and the Republic would be split into 2. So far, the proposal has made no tracks and needs to be put on the agenda by the rotating presidency of the European Council. On the 1st of January, Sweden will take up the role. Will they adopt the proposal? Only time will tell.
Alarm bells are ringing with the current unusually high temperatures in France and Spain, adding to worries about climate change-related shifts to the planet's weather. In southwest France, people flocked to the beach as temperatures hit 29 degrees on Thursday. At the same time, Spain is experiencing its hottest October since records began. Concerns were also raised by climate experts this week when the UN Weather Agency announced greenhouse gases hit record high levels.
And in all of those 3 gases, we have again broken new records. So we haven't seen any improvement in real atmosphere so far.
Temperatures have reached 34 degrees Celsius in some parts of Spain. The freaky weather is expected to continue into the first 2 weeks of November. The UN has said there is no credible pathway in place to prevent global temperatures from surpassing 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial temperatures, a goal set by the 2015 Paris Climate Conference, putting the world on track for potentially catastrophic outcomes.
The first coins bearing the portrait of King Charles III have been produced in the UK's Royal Mint. The 50p coin will go into circulation before the end of the year. Following in the traditions of his grandfather King George VI, Charles is not depicted as wearing a crown, unlike the coin depicting his mother, Queen Elizabeth II.
Germany is helping to rebuild the Notre Dame de Paris. 4 stained glass windows from the burnt-out cathedral are currently being restored in this master glassmaker's workshop in Cologne. Although the fire did not damage the stained glass, the colored windows are now blackened by soot.
It was something special to receive these pieces of stained glass because it was linked to a lot of emotions. The pieces themselves are one thing, but there is also a lot of soul in this project. And of course, we also felt it here in the workshop when we unpacked the pieces.
Restoring the fire-blackened windows is a very delicate task as the day of reopening approaches.
The fire did not cause any damage to the windows. Unfortunately, a lot of breakage has to be repaired with silicone glue, and of course we are short of time. We have to move forward as quickly as possible and with the best quality to put these stained glass windows back in Notre Dame next spring.
More than 3 years after the destructive fire, the project is on schedule to reopen in 2024.
Restoration work has begun in an Austrian library containing 100,000 historical books. The book hoard at the Melk Abbey is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it has a remarkable collection. Some of the manuscripts that are removed, cleaned and repaired date back to the year 900. Restoring the main hall, 12 rooms and their shelves has been done in stages. In doing so, there are some more modern adjustments being put in place. A rotating shelf system will be installed. On the floor you can see a steel construction, steel girders, which support the rotating shelves. Herbal books have been used throughout the centuries. Some of them date back to the 16th century and need specialist attention from book restorers such as Bettina, who has to sew individual pages back into the book and repair the covers. This book is covered in pigskin leather, which is one of the most durable materials, because pigskin is thick and firm. Nevertheless, over the centuries it rubs off and imperfections occur. That's what we repair. Visitors can still stroll through the rooms whilst the books are stored in the basement for now. In the future, the new shelving units won't be in contact with the damp walls, preserving the books for many more hundreds of years.